Hey guys, welcome to the channel. Today we are working on the lower control arms on my wife's 2011 Jeep Compass. It should be the same procedure for like the 2009s right through to 2000, I think it's 17. Whatever the first generation Jeep Compass is. It's also identical for a Jeep Patriot, the same years. And also the Dodge Caliper. All those three vehicles from Chrysler, they use the same suspension system. So it's pretty straightforward. Your lower control arms on the front end, they tie the steering knuckle, like the actual knuckle that holds all the brakes and that jazz, to the subframe with two bolts up here. So you know, you'll have a like the symptoms of a bad control arm. Like the control arm itself doesn't really go bad. It's the rubber bushings and the grommets. They start to go. Usually the bushing goes. So you know, when you're going over a light bump, you get the, you know, like a speed bump or something, you get that clunk in the front end. That's a big symptom of a bushing gone. Also, if you're driving, say you're going down the highway and you're starting to wander, like you can really feel the vehicle pulling. I don't mean like it's out of alignment and pulling like it needs an alignment, which does attribute to a control arm bushings as well, but it just wants to wander kind of thing, and you'll feel it. It's a little bit different. That's kind of what we had going on, so I decided to change the whole control arm, because you will have to press the bushings in to the control arm, and I don't have the tools for that. And from the looks of it, it's actually easier just to change the control arm. For me, I got a kit with left and right control arms, and it came with the tie rod ends as well, which I already have a video online about that. Yeah, so if you need to do your lower control arms with the bushings, I would suggest you pick up the kit that I got. Like I said, it came with everything. I got it on Amazon. I've got a link in the description for Canada and US. If you click on that link, you can support the channel. We get a little bit of a kickback, and then I can kind of reinvest it in some other tools or something like that. Maybe I can press my own bushings in next time. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward. I would highly recommend you jack the vehicle up the night before, remove the tires, and spray the 3 bolts down ahead of time. There's a bolt goes horizontally, one that goes vertically, and then there's a for the actual bushing here, there's a bolt that goes horizontally as well with a nut on the back. So spray those down with some PB Blaster or whatever you got. Make sure you got a torch on hand. Like, these vehicles are notorious for rusting out, especially like the subframe. You know, and just be prepared to fight with it a little bit. So that's what I had to do. Also, a large sledgehammer wouldn't hurt, just to pop that control arm out of the steering knuckle. That really helped me out. And make sure you got a couple long pry bars, or at least some big screwdrivers that you're not afraid to put some torque on. And other than that, you should be good to go. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments below, and I'll try my best to answer them. Okay? Thanks for watching, and enjoy. Alright, so the general consensus is that we got to get this splash guard off just a little bit. Unfortunately, I lost one of my clips, so I had to zip tie it. But this one should be just a flathead. You kind of poke it in behind, pop it out, and then pull the whole clip out. I call it like a 2-stage clip. And that'll expose that so we can get our gun in there, or a ratchet, or whatever you're going to use to pull that 13/16 off there. That one comes in horizontally, and then over here, it's kind of tough to see, but tucked right in there, going vertically, there's another 13/16, and that has a nut on the top. So you have to get under there, hold the nut, remove the bottom bolt, and then the knuckle here that I was talking about, you guys can see that. Basically, right here, we're going to remove and then hopefully hammer this control arm out of here. This is my little 2-stage clip I was telling you about. Might need a bigger flathead than this little dinky thing. Yeah, let me get a real flathead. Yeah, you just got to put it in and kind of give it the wiggle, you know? Try not to break it. And then once that first one is out, you can pop that second one out, and then there you have it. This one's not the best shape. Alright, I just wanted to show you guys, I decided to actually drop this splash guard because I forgot I was going to go ahead and try to clean up that cross member and put some lithium grease on it, or some sort of lubricant anyways. Try to get another 2 years out of this cross member without having to change it. So it's pretty easy to take the splash guard off. You got the 4 clips on the inside wheel well, like I was saying, and then there's a series of 10mm bolts underneath. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 there. I think I might be missing one, but or a couple. And then that splash guard falls right down, and then it shows you the inner workings. You can see the belts and pulleys, transmission, and then the cross member there. And now we have tons of room to get at our horizontal bolt here. Oh, I wasn't recording the entire time. You always got to look for the red dot. Anyhow, once I took my splash guard down, I had tons of room. 13/16 with the big gun. I mean, if you were really struggling, you could probably get a breaker bar in here too, I imagine. And just work that bolt all the way out. There's no nut on the end of this one. And I was saying, before I realized I wasn't recording at all, I got copper anti-seize on this bolt, so I really, I wonder how old this control arm really is. This might be the 3rd one going in this vehicle to 2011, which is kind of embarrassing, but they obviously got issues. So yeah, we'll go ahead, we'll get the 13/16 wrench on the top, and I'll probably lose my knuckle driver here, and we'll take that other bolt out. Might be kind of tough to see here with this light in your way, but I gotta be able to see up here, so I got my wrench. She's so rusted, I don't know if I can get her on. Yeah, this head of this bolt needs to get some work done to it, because it's looking pretty circular. Let me get my wire brush, see if I can clean it up. Jesus. I'm gonna need a dust mask. Look at this bolt's got copper anti-seize as well. But this friggin' vehicle takes on so much rust easy, the damn bolt head's already gone. Alright, that's the second bolt out. Now we just gotta get the one by the knuckle here. Alright, so this bottom knuckle bolt here is actually, what is it, 15mm. Got it on size. Yeah, so I got her with the torch and the penetrating fluid. I actually used it's a 14mm bolt on the backside, and then you can run that bolt right off with your impact gun or a breaker bar anyways. And now I should be able to hammer that bolt through. Alright, well, I managed to get this bolt out. Geez, you really you really gotta lay a fire to her, hammer it. Make sure you're hammering it straight, put the nut back on. Just kind of tap it back and forth if it's real rusty. Get the penetrating fluid in between the knuckle there, and eventually it'll work itself out. And then you got this, and you definitely want to clean this up because my kit didn't come with any extra bolts. They rarely do. So now the last thing to do is get in here and try to hammer this ball joint out of this knuckle. I'm going to drive one of my dirty old screwdrivers in between and try to pry it open, make the process a bit easier here. Alright, so unfortunately I kind of had to do that little bit off camera here, but what I had is I got this big bad boy. You know, persuasion. With all my bolts removed, I took this, I tried getting it in between this knuckle and hammering it. It's kind of like a dead blow screwdriver. The angle's not really right. I need a longer screwdriver to really be effective there. So I gave it a few taps. It kind of half popped off, and it was giving me trouble. So as you're working this side down, you want to hammer up on this side, and then at the very end, I was able to kind of get this screwdriver underneath this knuckle, and then I popped the control arm out that way. So now with that out of the way, I should be able to just tap the uppers out and kind of wiggle the control arm out of there. Alright, so I'm kind of just holding this control arm down as I tap it out. I'm pulling. There we go. Alright, so I managed to pull it out. It was kind of a lot of wiggling and tapping, but she came out. Now I'm going to insert the new control arm. Unfortunately, this I must have cheaped out probably, but these ones don't have Zerk fittings on the ball joints, which sucks. But I'm going to go ahead and apply grease to the bottoms and tops of these rubber grommets, just to kind of hopefully extend the life and make installing a lot easier. Alright, so I'm going to put it in the same way I took it out. I'm going to start with the back side, we'll call it. So what I ended up doing there is once I got my back portion in, I really forced it down. Like, there's a big rubber boot on that back side. I really forced it down. I was able to push it up into this front bolt here. And now I'm going to start these two. And I'm going to hammer this knuckle bolt in. Alright, so I walked that in nice and easy. Now I gotta get these bolts lined up here, okay? Now I can't even see a hole in here. Now this bolt should just hammer up. Alright, well, I got her off camera unfortunately, but what I would highly recommend you do, I'm not 100% done yet, but I would start on that side. Start on the back side. Make sure you got a decent long screwdriver and you can jam it inside of the subframe. And kind of tilt that, tilt the control arm forward a bit so that you can get your hole, so you can get your bolt through. Once you get that one in, this one comes real easy. And then it's just a matter of tapping the ball joint forward a little bit so that you can push it up into that knuckle. And then once you've got that, you got her. I'm going to focus on getting on the other side done here, and that'll pretty much be it. Alright, well, we got the second control arm in, and you know, it's just like everything in life. You know, the first one takes an hour and a half, you know, fiddling and learning. And then the second one takes 15 minutes, so it's really not too bad. I'll show you here. You know, same idea. You come in, you're going to take your 18 mil on the top, and then your 13/16, blast that off. Blast this through bolt off. There's no nut on that one, right? That's just 13/16. You need a bit of a knuckle driver if you're going to use an impact wrench. I actually got it off with a breaker bar, just like an 18-inch breaker bar. It came off pretty easy. And then down here, obviously, you got it's a 15-inch or 15 millimeter socket with the, I believe, 22 inch nut on the back, which I still gotta tighten, but you can see it there, hopefully.